Panja, Panja!
Master, what can I do for you?
Please bring me to a place where can I see wildflowers.
Yes, Master. I know exactly where to bring you.
Okay, lead the way, Panja.
The summer pavilion. Bridge right here is called Ojaki. That's a magpie bridge.
Okay, Panja. This is a nice place.
Do you like the place, Master? Master, what's wrong with you?
It's that beautiful lady swinging beneath one of the trees.
That's Chunyang, the daughter of Ise.
Yi Mong-yong couldn't take his eyes away from Chunhyang. Pangja informed Chunyang that he wished to see her.
Hello to the butterfly must seek the flower, and the geese must seek the sea.
Pangja informed Yi Mong-yong about Chunhyang's answer.
This opportunity has offered me today. Can I wait until tomorrow?
Master, let's go home. Your father might be looking for you.
But Panja...
The youth returned home in a trance and went immediately to sit at dinner with parents. With the meal finished, Yi Mong-yong went to his room.
Yes, Master.
Tonight, I must see Chunyang. Please, accompany me.
But Master, it's already late.
I can't wait any longer, Panja. I need to see her. I can't get her out of my mind.
They went to Chunyang's house and Yi Mong-yong asked Chunyang's mother for the hand of her daughter.
Good evening. My name is Panja, and this is my master, Yi Mong-yong.
Good evening too. Please come in. What can I do for you?
My master wishes to see your daughter, madam.
Chunyang, Chunyang, Chunyang. So what brings you here?
You see, madam, your daughter is so beautiful that when I first laid my eyes on her, I fell in love. So I wanted to ask your daughter's hand.
But master, you are the son of the young man, and I am just a kissing. There cannot be a formal marriage. But if you gave us a secret contract marriage, writing your pledge not to desert her, we shall be contented.
Wo-mei consented Yi Mong-yong's secret marriage.
I can't believe you are my love, madam.
Thank you, my Yemong-yong. Thank you for loving me.
I love you, my Chunyang.
I love you too, my Yemong-yong.
Not long after their marriage, the servant brought Yi Mong-yong a message saying that his father, newly appointed to the king's cabinet, was being recalled to the capital. Yi Mong-yong, who has to accompany his father, went that evening to Chunyang and told her the bad news. The young couple was forced to say a tearful goodbye at the Magpie Bridge.
I'm sorry, my love. If only I could change everything.
Since there is no way to change our fate, let us embrace it and part. Please keep this ring. This is my token of love for you. Keep it until we meet again. Keep it until we meet again. So in peace, but don't forget about me. I shall remain faithful to you and wait for you to come back.
I love you, my Chunyang.
Bring me Chunyang, the pretty girl I have heard of.
This is difficult, sir.
And why is that?
He is already married secretly to Yang Mong-yong, the son of the former magistrate.
I heard much of you in Seoul, and today I see you are very beautiful. Welcome to me.
I am committed to Yang Mong-yong. That is why I cannot do as you ask.
But you see, I can give you everything, but if you would accept my offer.
The king set you here to take care of the people. You have a heavy responsibility to the throne. I am committed to Yong. It would be better to fulfill your duties and apply justice according to the laws of the country, sir.
How dare you to defy me? I am your guest. You should do what I ask of you. Put her in jail.
Why put me in prison? I have done no wrong. A married woman must be faithful to her husband, just as the magistrate should be faithful to the king.
You are such an outrageous woman. How dare you? Put her in prison. I want her in prison and sentenced to death.
Please don't do this. I beg of you. No, please.
Chunyang's defiance enraged the magistrate, and before long, Chunyang found herself in prison cell. Meanwhile, Yimungyung had arrived in Seoul, where he studied hard and learned all the famous Chinese classics. He passed the government examinations with the highest distinctions, thereby qualifying for a position in the king's service.
What do you want to wish to become? A magistrate or a governor?
I should like to be appointed as Amin Hosa.
You sure that's what you want?
Yes, Your Majesty. Thank you, Your Majesty.
Yimungyung traveled the country with his attendants, disguised as beggars. They inquired everywhere after the needs of the people in order to assess the quality of local districts' administrations. At first, his mother did not recognize him.
Do not know who you are, but your face reminds me of Yeongyong. But your clothes are the clothes of beggar.
Listen to me, mother. Even though I am miserable bigger, I still long for Chungyan, and I want to see her.
My dear Chunyang, wake up!
Mother, have you seen Yong? Or have you heard news of him?
He's here.
My Chunyang! Oh, my Chunyang!
Yong, my love, is that you? Oh, poor Yong.
I may be a bigger in this, but I have no bigger heart.
Dear heart, how hard your journey must be. Go back with my mother and get some rest. Only please, since I am under a sentence of death and must die tomorrow at the fest, come to my window again in the morning so I may have the joy of seeing you once more before I die.
Don't worry, my love. Everything will be okay.
Yimungyung went and slept in Chunyang's room, but the next morning, when his mother-in-law opened the door, she was surprised to find that he was gone. In fact, he had gone early to collect his attendants, all distinguished as beggars like himself. He gave them strict orders.
Tonight is the night that we will end the tyranny of the majesty of this town. Are you with me? Sir! Yes, sir! Okay, you know what to do.
Then Yimungyung summoned the magistrate of Namon and said,
The king gave an instruction to feed the people well. Instead, you feed upon them. I condemn you in the name of the king's perpetual position. I banish you to the faraway island without wheat, without wine, without company. I give the permission to eat white grass to your stomach first for the way you feed of Namun.
After all of this was done, Yimungyung took his bride back to Seoul and wrote out the story Chunyang as an appendix to his official report. The king read it and was surprised to find such fidelity in a court girl of low birth. He made her a Chungyol put-in or duchess and declared that her loyalty was proof that she was just as good or many young daughter, even though her mother was a lowly Kiseng, and that her conduct should be a model for all women. Chunyang was then officially presented to the parents of Yimungyung, and they accepted her as a proper daughter-in-law. In time, Chunyang bore 3 sons and 2 daughters, and they will lived happily for many years.